Good evening. Good evening. How you doing, Mayor?
I'm doing great. How you doing, April?
I,
Rachel. You doing good?
I am doing well. It's so great to see everyone back this month. Once again, we are back with what's happening live in Rolesville. My name is Rachel Morris, and I'm the Executive Director of the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce, and I am joined by our Mayor Ronnie Currin. We have a great lineup for you this evening. We're going to talk about a lot of things that's happening in the community, as always, and provide some great updates about things that if you have questions, you can ask us questions and things like that. So what do you think, Mayor?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it tonight. I have really enjoyed the weather getting a little bit better. We're able to get out around town some, see people, can see faces now. It's really great that some of the masks are coming off and we're able to actually see each other. After 2 years, it's really great. We still have to be careful though, because I'm not sure if this pandemic is completely over with or not. So I warn everybody to be a little bit cautious with that. But it is great getting out, being able to have events, and being able to meet and talk to people again.
It is, Mayor. And I know even for some people, you'll notice a lot of people are still in masks when you go out. And so even, depending on where you are, if you're outside, if you go indoors, some will wear the mask, some won't wear the mask. So it's always great to have the option and the flexibility to be able to do either one. So not going to prolong it, Mayor. We're going to go ahead and kick into the show. We have this evening, we have up Sherry Bauer with the Rolesville Farmers Market. I know she's backstage, and I'm excited to have her on here and talk about some things that's going on with the farmers market. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Hey, Sherry. Hope you're
Hello.
doing good tonight.
We're doing well over here on the farm. It's cold, but we're doing well.
Well, good. Good. Great to see you. Always good to see you. I think Rachel dropped off. So I don't know how long we've known each other, Sherry, but quite a while now, and got to know you really well through the farmers market and stuff. And, I think people watching maybe don't know you as well. If you would kind of describe yourself, give us a little bio of who Sherry is.
Well, let's see. I was born in Pittsburgh and raised in DC, but we have been in North Carolina for 25 years this year, and in Rolesville for 9. So, we have fallen in love, and we will probably retire here. Love the area.
I bet.
And yeah, and then we've I've loved farming or gardening my whole life. So my dad kind of fostered that love in me, and he now lives with us. So he is my extra pair of hands out in the garden, and he helps me grow all my stuff.
Yeah. So you live out on Century Farm, I think, Road, and that's I would call maybe semi-rural. I know it's not far from town, and it's probably things are growing up out there all the time, and maybe they're not all just plants. There's some other stuff growing up out there too. But it does sound like you do grow some things out there on the farm.
Yep, we have now we have 8 acres. We had 4 acres, but we have acquired 4 more. So we have our 2 houses on 8 acres. And I grow all types of produce. We only farm probably about 2 acres of our land. This year it will be more. Obviously we're going to add, so we've added fruit trees, and we have ducks and chickens and guineas. So we've added that to our flock, and hopefully in the near future we're going to have some goats and maybe some cows. So
right. Well, I think your name to fame is the farmers market, and that's I think you call it the Main Street Farmers Market, I believe. Is that right?
The downtown Rolesville Farmers Market.
Downtown Rolesville Farmers Market. I know, you know, you've been doing that for a while. How did you get started in that? What got you thinking about doing a farmer's market in Rolesville?
Well, actually, in 2014, the year after we moved here, another couple had tried to do a farmers market in Rolesville. They had done it up on the corner of Young and Main Street. So I went up there one day and said, "Hey, can I come sell some of my produce?" Because we had lots of excess produce. And they said, "Sure." So I joined them for the summer. And and actually, I think that might be where I met you, because I'm pretty sure your wife started shopping there when we were
She
up on the
does.
corner. Yes.
Yeah.
So we did okay that year, but the couple that was running it decided they didn't want to do it again. So for the next couple years, I tried with the chamber, with the town. We kind of tried to do a couple things, and just couldn't. It didn't catch on. So we took a break for a couple years, and then when I started going to Village Church Rolesville, the pastor Tyler said, "Hey, why don't you do the farmers market in the parking lot here?" So that, and then the rest is history. So that's where we kind of started there with 5 vendors.
Yeah. So how many years you been doing it now? Then did you say I missed that? How long?
Well, we're going into our 5th season, where we're since we started at Village Church in the parking lot. So this will be our 5th real season of farmers market.
Right, right. And you mentioned the parking lot there at the church. I kind of hear you moving to a new location. Is that
Yep, we are going to 302 South Main Street, which is right next to Sonic, in that big open field across from the elementary school. So that we will have lots of room for lots more vendors.
right, right? Yeah, you won't have to worry about other businesses right next door and
Right.
uh,
Interfering with them, yeah.
yeah, and traffic issues and those type things. Um,
Hmm.
so we mentioned about traffic. What are some other things you think this new location will provide that you won't able to do at the other one?
Well, I think we'll be a little bit more visible. We're going to be kind of out in the open. And that part of Main Street is traveled pretty well. So I think that that's going to bring more customers. Will be, our signs will be out. So I think people will be able to see it from the corner. And I just think it will give us more visibility. So we should be good there.
Good. Um, I think you open just on Saturdays once a week. Any thoughts of expanding the hours, or you feel like Saturdays is kind of the bread and butter that people come out to shop for
Well,
produce?
one of the things, having a permanent location is what we are striving for. Um, and my vision 5, 10 years down the road I would love to have a farmers market that operates several days a week, if not all week. Right now, I don't think that we can do that, just because, with all of the construction that's going to be going on in downtown Rolesville over the next few years, that might be a little difficult. But I think that it would be nice to have a bigger farmers market up in this part of the county, since the main farmers market is all the way down in Raleigh. I think being up here would be a benefit to people. And then it would bring a lot of the farmers that are up in this area, even in Franklin County and Nash County. It would bring them in too, probably. So long-term goals, that would be something I would love to do.
Yeah, describe, if someone has not been to the market before. Describe what they would expect to see there. I know it's more than just produce. It's a lot more than that, right?
Yep, we have, besides the produce, we've got meat vendor, we have a seafood vendor, we've got several vendors that do different types of sweets. We've got some breads and cookies and cakes and cupcakes. We've got candies, and then we also have vendors who make different things. Last year we had Cerdito Lindo, and they made empanadas and tamales. And this year we're going to have somebody that's going to be doing barbecue plates on occasion. We have food trucks when we can get the food trucks, and we have music. That was an ad to the market last year, and that went over really well. Everybody loved having the music there. So we're going to do that again this year. And we also do nonprofit highlights. So we've had puppy rescues, backpack buddies, note in the pocket. We usually have a table for free for them for what, and they can come and collect things. We did for backpack buddies, we collect food. For note in the pocket, we do clothes. So every week at the market to highlight all of we have lots of nonprofits in the area. So I would really like to be able to get them, out into the community and make people aware so that they can get volunteers or donations of whatever they need. And I think that's kind of it.
Great. I guess one of the things, you mentioned a lot of different things, and every time I've been, I think it's something new there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new vendors coming and things like that. What is something that you would like to see a vendor bring to the market that you don't have?
Well,
is it any kind?
Gosh, this year I think we've got many things covered. We've got jewelry. The big thing now is the charcuterie boards and cutting boards, wood objects. We have a birdhouse maker, and he's got birdhouses of every size, shape, and anything you could think of. We have jams and jellies. I'm not even sure. We don't have anybody that does specifically like leather work. I don't know. I mean, we've got it all. We've got all kinds of t-shirt vendors. They do cups and t-shirts and hats and anything you could put a vinyl sticker on. Somebody will make it. Earrings. We've had dog food. We have a dog food vendor that comes, and last year we had Pet Wants. They have dog products. I'm not sure if they're going to join us this year, but we do have the dog food vendor, and we love things for pets. That's always big because we're the only farmers market in the area that allows dogs to come to the farmers market, and we love having the dogs because they're a part of our family too, and we always have somebody that's selling pet stuff. So it's always nice to have them bring their dogs, and it's nice to meet all the puppies in the area.
Yeah, it's amazing how many different things you have there, Sherry. You're right. I mean, and it changes a little bit from week to week. Some things you'll see one week that you may not see the next week, and it's sometimes there's a coffee vendor there that I kind of like to see every once in a while.
Woke Living Coffee.
Yeah, and so it's a little bit of everything. But if somebody wanted to sell something, how would they go about setting up there? Would they contact you directly, or how would that work?
They can send me a message on the farmers market. We have two pages. We've got the downtown Rolesville Farmers Market business page. You can send me a message on that page telling me what you sell, because the big thing is 99% of what is done at the market has to be handmade or homegrown or whatever. It's got to be made by you. So tell me what you have, send me a picture or two, and an email address, and then I will forward you an application and the information on all of the rules of the market, so to speak. And that's the best way. You could call me. The number's on the screen there if you want to, if you have any questions and want to talk about it. I'd be happy to answer any questions. But then we also have a group page, which is also called the Downtown Rolesville Farmers Market. We're trying to maximize how everybody's seeing what we have, and every week I do an event for each market and highlight the vendors that are going to be there that week, and then we posted in the group page. And I also created the group page to allow all the vendors at the market to post the things that they're selling, even if they're not selling at the market. So some people do other events as well, and my goal is to help the vendors be successful. So whether that's being in the Rolesville Farmers Market or attending other markets, I allow our vendors to post in that venue as well, so that they can share what they're doing and where you can buy their stuff.
Yeah. I think a question popped up there about cat food. You mentioned dog food. What about cat food?
That was, I believe that was Pet Wants that had the cat food too. I think they had multiple pet stuff. I don't think I have a cat food person so far this season, but if anybody out there makes cat food or whatever, they can always contact me.
Right. Good. Um, I love the Rolesville community here. So, from a community standpoint, what kind of support do you feel like you get from the community?
I think we get a ton of support. Obviously, the town hall, you and all of the town council members have been a great support. I have had no difficulty in working with everybody. Love everybody over there, and the chamber has been a big help. Rachel, in conjunction with the chamber, we do Rolesville Business Saturdays. We did one last year and one the year before, where we allow chamber members and other brick and mortar businesses to set up for one day. This season, we're going to do two because they were so successful and we had so many people both times. This will maybe allow a few more people to participate, but that kind of gets all the regular businesses that don't make stuff, that don't normally come to the farmers market, that gets them out there in the community as well, so people know that they're there. Because I even though my main business is promoting all of my vendors, I also want to promote Rolesville businesses because I'm a part of this town and I love, sharing and promoting the businesses that are brick and mortars as well as the vendors. So the business Saturdays are a great way to do that.
That's right, and also you use some of the community social things for your farmers market. I know you do a kind of a podcast on Saturday mornings. Doing the farmers market.
I do the live Facebook live videos.
If you follow social media, you probably see me on there.
Yes, we've got a great following on Facebook and doing the lives. I have contemplated many times not doing the lives, and I've mentioned that to people, and then I get told that I need to do them because then when people see those, they know what's going to be at the market that day. So they know whether or not they can come out, need to come out, or if they should get there early, something is going to be gone. So the Facebook Live has been a really good way to promote the page. So as much as I don't, like being on camera, it is a good way.
Right. So Sherry, I know you moved in a new location. You was at the other one, you said about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you expect to be at this one for 5 years, or you expect something even more in 5 years?
No. So MVK Commercial Realty and York Development owns the property that we're going to be on this year, and they have generously let us rent the space for the season. So hopefully we can be there the whole season. Obviously, if somebody decides they want to develop over there, we might have to be scooching around and trying to find a temporary location. I've got something in the works for next year and hopefully the next few years. I don't want to give it away just yet because nothing is set in stone, but hopefully next year we will have a better location with more visibility, and we'll be able to have more vendors. I've got like 90 vendors right now on my vendor list. We don't ever have that many at the market, but we average between 20 and 30 a week. Some weeks bigger, like opening week right now is going to be 40 plus vendors probably. So, a bigger space that we can spread out a little bit more would be nice. And fingers crossed that it'll work out. So next year we'll have some probably more details mid-season, hopefully.
That's right. That's right. And
well, Sherry, I'm chuckling because you talk about the chamber and kind of some of the things that we have going on. So we're excited about next week being the actual opening week. And so I know that that's a big thing for us. And so we have going on the Roseville Farmers Market, we're doing the cash mob. So for
Yay.
those that are wondering, what is a cash mob? How does a cash mob work? Never heard of it. This is an opportunity where we kind of set it up for people to come out and to shop. And that shopping opportunity means we pick, the farmers market is a little different, but generally what we do is a cash mob. We will choose one business and we encourage the community, our chamber members, anyone in Rolesville, outside of Rolesville, is to spend money at that business on that one day. And so what happens is this is a way for us to drop money on that business. Of course, this started as a result of COVID. We had a lot of businesses that needed a little boost. And so this was a way, and it was successful. So we decided to keep it and kind of keep it going. So we're excited about that. So for our businesses that will be out at the farmers market on the 19th, which is next Saturday, it kicks off at 9 o'clock. We will be doing a cash mob. So we encourage you to come out and drop some money and leave some money in the community and with those businesses. And then also, Sherry, as we talk about the Roseville Business Saturday, the Roseville Business Saturday is a great opportunity. So we're excited about that too. And then I'm going to drop some questions on here because you have a lot of comments that are coming in. People are excited about Sherry. They love Sherry. We all know Sherry has done a lot in the community. For those that know her, she does a lot in the community. So we have quite a few comments coming in support and just loving the farmers market. Of course, Lou said the farmers market was a mission impossible, which I think you all kind of heard. So we're excited definitely about that. And then we also have, and this is one of your vendors and one of our chamber members, Gordon White. She is with, if you ever, I can't even say she does like one thing because she has expanded her business like crazy. Like Jordan is she just did a wedding and I was watching it on Facebook. She actually did a virtual wedding. So it was kind of cool seeing her draw the caricatures and everything doing the wedding live. So that's kind of neat. So we're excited about that and the things that are kind of going on. And then of course we have Christina said she can't wait for the market. We're excited about that. And Sherry, I know you talked about this before, but just kind of want to know, like, one of the things, like we talked about a lot of things, but like, what's that exciting item happening at the farmers market this year? There's a lot of stuff happening, but if you had to pick one, what is that one thing?
I don't even know if I could pick one because we've added the music. I'm actually hoping to work on some animal things. One year we had the alpacas from Whistleina Farm come out. They are unfortunately no longer here. So that's something that I am, like I said, I'm passionate about animals. So I'm going to try and have some fun things to do out at the market this season with animals. But the best thing I think is the music. That is something that people really like. So we have a place where you can come and you can shop and you can get some food, get lunch or get dessert, because we have Mr. Freeze has been a staple at the market all last season, and he'll be there this season too. He comes out with his ice cream truck, and so we hopefully he'll be back out. We're gonna have a slushy truck come out one time. So trying to kind of shake it up. I don't know how many times we'll have food trucks out, but we hope to have a few out this year. But I'm just excited about the space that we can expand how many vendors we can accommodate, and that will be more visible. So I think it'll be great for the vendors. I'm just so excited for them. I hope they all do really well this year, and want to keep coming back so we can keep getting bigger.
So Sherry, you mentioned the location, which we all know it is. We here local know, but if you are watching on any of our platforms, are wondering where that downtown Rolesville Farmers Market is going to be, and that's the key word, is downtown. So we want you to actually, if you're coming in on the bypass, get off of the bypass and come downtown, and you will actually find it across from Rolesville Elementary School. That is like the best landmark I can give you if you're looking for how do I get there, because there is construction going on. But look for or put into your Google or Waves or whatever app you use, put in Rolesville Elementary School, and you'll be able to get to the farmers market. You should see it with no problem. Excellent. Look, I'm excited. Anything else, Mayor, while we have Sherry on?
No, I'm really excited about the opening on the 19th, Sherry, and I guess you can just come out there and hang out if you want to, right? I mean,
Yes, we have
it,
people that stay for quite a while because all of our vendors, I mean, our vendors are so friendly and people, we have gotten to know so many people in the community and we've made friends with a lot of the community members and the vendors. I mean, they're just a great group. And so, you know, it takes a long time to talk to 40 vendors. So if you're going to come out, you're going to be there for a while. So you can stop and talk to all the vendors, get to know them. And then, you know, all throughout the year, if you need to buy anything that is local, handmade, homegrown, you know, this is a place to get it.
and that's rain,
Yes, it is.
sunshine, snow, anything. You're gonna be there.
Yeah, rain could be, if we say yes in the rain, we may have less vendors that day in the rain, but hurricane winds, we tend to cancel if it's going to be really windy because we've had a couple mishaps with blown tents
Yeah.
Right.
from strong winds. So we try and do the rain. In the rain, you're most likely going to find mostly the food, the produce, and the meats and stuff because, you know, we're the ones that are there that are going to be there all the time and we don't have to worry about our stuff getting messed up in the rain. But yeah, so it's rain or shine unless, you know, hurricane is blowing through.
Well, Sherry, we really thank you for doing this. You do a great job, as Rachel said. You know, with the accolades coming in from the citizens and stuff. We are really recognized as going far beyond, you know, expectations and do a really excellent job on that. And really appreciate you doing this for the community. Really, I'm sure you put a lot of heart and soul into it. So thank you.
Definitely love it. And thank you guys very much. And thank you for all your support. Both of you have been a great help to me.
Thank you. Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry.
Bye.
Well, Mayor, I will tell you, just looking at the comments coming in from community members and also some of her vendors, it definitely has been a huge thing for us to have her here in the community, working that downtown farmers market. It's been something that, you know, we're excited to see and definitely glad to have it. But I'm also excited about our next guest. For those who are wondering, and she's backstage, as I like to say whenever I'm on here, and I can see her smiling. But we have Heather Scott, who is our District 1 representative. And for those, if you've never met her, she is truly one of the most approachable people I have ever met. Any opportunity that we actually reach out to her and invite her, she is there and present, no question asked. And I know for some, when you think about people who represent us on our school board and people that run for office or elected officials, you don't really necessarily, you think, oh, they're going to campaign for one thing or do something, and they don't actually do it. She actually does it, which is what we love. And I always tell people when I go to other districts, I'd be like, oh, I don't know your person, but I love my person over in District 1. So I've kind of talked her up quite a bit, Mayor. So I'm excited to have Heather. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on, and I'm going to go ahead and hang backstage for a little bit.
Great.
Look.
Yeah, welcome.
Hello.
Heather, nice to have you on the show. And Rachel, you know, Rachel said you represent District 1, but I really say you support us. You know, you just don't represent us; you really support us in District 1. And for the people that don't know you Heather, you the Wake County Board of Education for District 1, which is located, you know, Rolesville located in District 1. Just give us a little bio of who Heather is, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, thanks again, Mayor, for having me. And thank you, Rachel, for the incredibly nice introduction. So I'm Heather Scott, and I currently live in Wake Forest with my husband. I have 2 kids, a golden retriever who you might get to hear barking at some point. 2 cats. That's how these meetings go sometimes. But I have 2. So we live in Wake Forest. I have been serving on the school board for District 1 since December of 2018. Before that, I was a music teacher. I've taught in the classroom for 11 years full-time, and then private lessons and substitute teaching 10 additional years. So my first year teaching was in 1998. So you can do the math. I've been involved in education for quite some time. Moved here to North Carolina in 2008. Actually was the first music teacher at Endeavor Charter School, which I know some folks are familiar with because they're right over in Wake Forest. And then when my son was born, sort of backed off from teaching full time. Always have been passionate about education, particularly public education, since I'm a product of public schools. And when the opportunity came up to run for school board in 2018, the timing was right. The big guy upstairs, I think, said it was the right time, and my family was supportive, and I won, and here I am.
Yeah, certainly, and it's been a great experience for us. I got to know you over the last few years, Heather, and I hope the experience has been good for you as it been for us. So you represent us really well, and I appreciate that. You mentioned through your bio several times about being a teacher, and I'm sure there's really a advantage of being a teacher to represent us on the school board. What advantage do you think that gives you as a board member?
I think for me as a teacher, especially as a music teacher, um, a lot of times you feel like the fine arts are sort of pushed aside, that they're not as important as other subjects, and funding is often a struggle for our fine arts and sort of what I like to call co-curricular subjects. I think my experience inside the classroom, when we hear like professional development and training and this new program, and I can kind of remember my days in the classroom and how maybe there wasn't always time for that. So I just think a level of empathy, having walked in those shoes, certainly not ever anything like our teachers have been doing in COVID times, but I think it just allows just some, firsthand empathy. I've been there. I've worked 2 jobs, unfortunately, when I was teaching. So I think I try to be sensitive to those needs because I've been there.
Yeah, not only a teacher, but you also mentioned you're a parent, and having kids in the system. Uh, how important is that? Does that add some importance to it also?
I think that's absolutely critical for someone to have a child who's either been in the school system currently or in the past, or is getting ready to be in the school system. I think it's not just the personal investment that you care for, but that again you're living it, and you see that the decisions that you make impact you directly. I always say that when I vote on something, that's a decision that basically instantly impacts about 180,000 people. And when your kiddos is one of those people, you really think you think a little bit differently when that's the case. But I've also seen very effective board members who've had kids previously in the system. So, but I think it's absolutely, it makes you think a couple times before you vote or before you make a motion for something.
Right. I understand that. Would you say that you're a big advocate of anything particular? If so, what is it that you advocate a lot for?
One of the first one of the first goals that I had personally coming into the board was to strengthen the relationships and the partnerships with our municipalities. Um, I mean, we all know this in the eastern part and the northeastern part. Sometimes those partnerships and relationships might have felt a little strained, and I knew how valuable it is to make sure that the Wake County public school system is something we all invest in. We all actually invest in as taxpayers, and I think everyone deserves the chance to feel a part of that. So it was a little sad to feel that sometimes those relationships felt a little strained, or some folks felt like their voices weren't amplified. And that was one of my goals, was to strengthen that partnership so that our towns, even though we're a unified school district within Wake County, but that our municipalities felt that they were a valuable partner.
Yeah, you mentioned Eastern Wake County. I think I read somewhere you said you represent a unique community. How would you describe as being unique?
Well, District 1 covers 6 different municipalities. So right now, we are all of Wake Forest, all of Rolesville, all of Zebulon, all of Wendell, a big chunk of Nightdale, and then a little part of Northeast Raleigh as well. So District 1 has, we have some very large homes in some parts. We have densely populated neighborhoods, like some of the parts and Traditions, some of the parts in Wendell Falls, and then we have our beautiful and quaint downtown areas, and we have rural areas. I mean, we have farmland, we have mobile home communities that people don't even know exist because they're off of they're down a gravel road, and so we've got just a wide range of families and communities, and many communities with deep historic roots.
You mentioned all those communities, Heather, and there's a lot of them. 6 towns, and I would say some communities within those towns too that you probably could even segregate that way too. So, but I guess from a community perspective, how important is Wake County Public Schools to a community?
I think it is critically important. I think it is the place. It is a place for everyone. We serve every child. We try to serve every child, have a place for every child at their base school as well. We certainly do our best to provide that, and sometimes we do have regional programs for some students with special needs. But I mean, it is actually a place for everyone to come together and to learn. There's a professor at NC State, Dr. Walden, who through some generous grants writes something called the Economic Impact of the Wake County Public School System. And it's a fascinating document. And if you look consistently, even in the most recent document, you can see the real impact, sort of like the return, the ROI that taxpayers, even if you don't have your children in the public school system, that it's a valuable investment, from a financial standpoint. And then, of course, as an educator, I mean, I think this is investing in people is the wisest investment that we can make. I love in Rolesville, I love the relationship that the town has with the high school, where we see folks coming out to basketball games, coming out to football games, even if they don't have a kid in the school system. It's a fun place you can go to. We see some of our elementary schools with, carnivals, and now that we're able to invite folks back into the buildings, we see the ways that they try to reach out to the community. And then, of course, we're appreciative of the leadership groups that the chamber offers for all of Rolesville students. So it's so important. I think it's kind of like it can sometimes be the glue. We can't all be Sherry. She's the glue, I think, of Rolesville, but I think our schools certainly do. They certainly try.
That's great. I think in Rolesville we have 2 Wake County public elementary schools. One just outside of town, maybe one day be in town, and a middle school, high school. So we have a pretty good presence of Wake County schools here within the city limits of Rolesville. So do you feel like that you are getting support from the community as well for those schools?
That's a great comment. I really do feel like there is once folks go into our buildings, I think they're very happy there. I think just like social media is rough. I mean, let's be honest. It can be a little hard. And sometimes it can be intimidating if you hear a few people discussing their personal experience, because not everything is sunshine and roses. Not every day is, but it can be intimidating. But I think once people get inside of a school, and once their child has an experience in a school, it really changes their mindset. I think the community has been very supportive. the hashtag My Rolesville, supporting our high school a few years ago, that still continued, and the people participating in the fundraisers that we have and offering to do fundraisers. Our PTAs at the elementary schools also have a community membership, so you can, people can sign up. So I do think the community is supportive, and they feel that glue. And it's been a rough couple of years for our schools, and for everybody, but I do
Mhm.
think our schools feel loved.
Well, that's great. It's one thing to support the schools, the schools in itself, but when it gets down to the students, actually the students in the school, um, how can a community support the students themselves?
Well, that's a great question. I think looking into um, the PTA memberships, and especially at the high school, because to be very honest, oftentimes we see a lot of parental involvement at any school, even one that has high community involvement. And then by the time students are in middle school and then high school, sometimes that participation, the volunteers, it drops off just a little bit. Um, so those types of groups really do provide support, not just financial support, but sometimes even sprucing up the outside when we have the community cleanup days at schools. I mean, that can boost a child's sense of pride. I think also offering compliments about the school. One of the things I think we need to remember is that our kids can read what's said on social media. So if we
Right.
say so, sometimes they want to feel pride in their schools, and so when we do pay compliments, when we try to help schools, the outside appearance look good, I think that absolutely lends to the overall sense of pride that we want our students to feel.
Great comments there. Um, one of the things I think, and I believe this is correct from observation, that sometimes, especially in small communities like Rolesville, still a pretty small community compared to some, sometimes a high school particular or school program can add identity to that community. It can be even state identity. Our for example, the Rolesville Rams, football team, been kind of a presence in the whole state, and some of the success they have had, last couple of years. Do you see that as being true that, a school is important for a community and even defining the identity of the community at times?
Absolutely, and that's a great example with the football team making it to the championship game 2 years ago, and going very far again. Just that does bring a sense of pride, I think, to the community. Um, and it is important. I think no matter the size of the town. I mean, that's something, when you hear that, when you see that in the papers, and it offers a chance to celebrate students. And um, yeah, I do think that's incredibly important. And even beyond sports, we have some amazing things happening at Rolesville High
Mhm.
School with artists and theater. The music program is great. Beta Club, we have phenomenal students going to Ivy League schools. I mean, we've got some great things happening. Our CTE, our Future Farmers of America. I mean, the list definitely goes on. And those are our students, right? Those are our students who live right here or right around Rolesville.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that. Schools are supposed to be about academics, education, learning, getting prepared for life, getting prepared for college, and things like that. But some of these other extracurricular things, even band, my kids participate in bands and stuff. It just gives you all around, better. I guess as the kids grow up, it just gives them a better experience, don't you think? With along with the education.
Absolutely. I mean, no matter if someone wants what their choice is after high school, if it is, military service or right into the workforce, community college or 4-year program, those extracurricular activities where students commit to them and they put that time in every day as well. I mean, yes, you have to have solid academics, but that shows a commitment to a future employer or to a future college or a program. That's something you can list on your resume for many years. Participated in band for 4 years, and that shows that you're consistent, that you're persistent, that you understand showing up, and it shows that you're a person who can stay committed to something, and you're a future employee who's gonna be in that and support that company. I mean, all of these programs that we have help. They do help with those life skills that we need for our students to find success after they graduate.
That's good examples there, Heather. One of the things as mayor here in Rolesville, one of the things I try to do is make sure we have strong partnerships between, the town and the school. And I think we do. I think we do. One of the examples, recently, I think you and I have been working with in trying to get a safer crossing, for Sanford Creek Elementary. From the mobile home park over there. Do you feel the same?
Absolutely. I think I appreciate so much that, when that issue was happening, that we were able to communicate clearly and try to work together to find a solution for our students. When I think of the SRO program that we have with our schools, I mean, that's another partnership that's important, that I know, people care very deeply about at our high school. And the officers who work in the school right now, I know, are very well loved, very much appreciated by everyone who's in the building. So it's just such a critical part to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, this is something that we need to work on, and to be available for that. So it's absolutely, even things like the signage that the town of Rolesville has to say this is where the middle school is and the high school's this way, painting the crosswalks, putting in the crosswalks on around the schools with the solar powered lights. I mean, those are phenomenal things that just show how valuable it is to have that good relationship.
Yeah, and those are some good examples, I think, Heather. You mentioned the SRO program, and these things are costly. They're costing the taxpayers of Rolesville to support some of these things. But I think it's well worth it for us to be able to add our part in making Wake County schools and the school experience for the kids the safest and the best environment possible type thing. Whether it's a safety crosswalk or actually somebody in the class, in the halls or whatever. And so I think we work on issues. Some of the things we work. One of the issues that we need to work on, we see on social media sometimes, have to do with the traffic at the high school. Especially the 15 minutes that everybody is coming in out there. I think it's from 7 to 7:15, and I've talked to the principal about that one time, and I think everybody's really open, and I think we'll find a solution to that. I know it's painful for some of the folks. It's painful for the parents too. I think if they have drop offs and that type of things, but those type things, hard things that we kind of work through. But I really appreciate you being open to work with us and being there to hear some issues that if we have some that we can work together on. Just to change up a little bit before we close. I mentioned Wake County Public Schools in town, but we do have some private and some charter school. And I think my perspective and a lot of people in town, it is, you need all types of schools. You got different kind of kids, you need different kind of schools. And I think you understand that. You work well with that. Any thoughts around, how charter schools, private schools, and Wake County school system can work together to be even better or more successful?
Absolutely. In my personal teaching experience, I taught at a private high school as well. I've also had experience teaching in our public school system. And of course, I mentioned I also have taught in a charter school, and certainly think that there are different learning styles for each student. It's one of the things I actually like about the Wake County public school system as well, is that we do have some different schools. We have different schools of choice within the school system too, with magnet schools with different themes. We have our early college, high schools, career academies. And so we do try to offer that in the public school system. But charter schools, they started out in the state of North Carolina to have innovative themes, to work as sort of laboratory schools that could, find different ways to address that not everybody learns the exact same way. And so as much as we try to differentiate, sometimes a different school environment is better for that. And then, of course, with private schools, the private school in Rolesville has a very specific education style. And, so it absolutely, I think what I want, though, is for everyone to know that their base school, their Wake County Public School, is there to serve them. It is always there to serve them. We will serve everyone. We will work to provide IEPs if we need to. We'll work with special transportation. I mean, we're here to serve every child. And so that's just what I want folks to know, is I don't ever want them to feel that there's not a place for them in the school system, but for them to know that there is one. And, we hope that they choose it, but we also, I respect everyone has a different situation. We never really, we can never really predict, what someone else might be looking for or why. So I think just respecting those choices and making sure that we do our job to truly serve each and every child who walks in our doors.
That's great. I know that your name and contact information has been strolling across the bottom there. You're open for anybody to give you, email or give you, contact you at any time.
Absolutely. I always try to respond to emails. There have been a few things over the last year or so that sometimes have made it difficult to respond personally to each and every email, but I certainly I try to respond to that, and particularly if someone says, I live in your district, and then I absolutely I did. Oh, I wanted to mention one thing, Mayor, that we didn't get. I know that folks are always concerned about the growth, and I know you hear that a lot. And do we have enough room in our schools? And I want folks to know that that is something that is constantly monitored in the school system. And we have different ways that we work, not only just with town planners, but Wake County as well, to try to keep an eye on that and make sure that we're planning accordingly to make sure that there's room for students. And so right now, yes, we have plenty of room for the new families that we're excited to welcome to Rolesville.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I am a parent, of course. I love when you talk about the early colleges and the programs in the county. When I tell people in other states about it, because of course none of this existed when we were in school, but when we tell people about the early colleges and the options, even from just a regular high school, from the classes, the CTE classes and things like that, people are a little amazed. I mean, just at the options that we have here in this county. So I'm definitely excited about that. I mentioned earlier, of course, I love working with you and everything that you do for us. And I also love, of course, you have fans out there too. So you're not.
It was hard to top Sherry, right? I mean,
you also have fans out there too. So thank you so much, Commissioner Sutton. Great support for Rolesville, and we know that, and we have mentioned that. So we're definitely excited to have you here supporting our schools and the things that we do. And also thank you for supporting our youth leadership program. When we look at the things that we offer here at the Chamber of Commerce, of course, for our students, and that youth leadership program has been a huge one for us and what we're able to offer for the students. So we are actually finishing up our last class. We're excited to be able to meet face to face again after coming out of the pandemic. And the students appreciate it. And so they have one more session this week. Well, next week, actually.
Goodness.
And then that class will be graduating. And then we'll be welcoming in a new cohort for the next year. So we're definitely excited about that. So Mayor, it is 7:55.
Yeah.
I can bring Sherry back on. And look, all of us can hang out together and wrap up.
Yeah, well, thanks both of you for being on the show tonight. I really enjoyed it. Thank you both. And Sherry, I'll be seeing you 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, a week and a half.
And Heather, I know we got a lot to work on, so I'll be seeing you real soon too. So thanks to both of you for coming on. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
And Rachel,
Thank
I think
you.
it was a really great show. I really enjoyed our guests. They add so much they both add so much to the community and such a big support of the community. And just want to plug next month's show, April 14th.
Mhm.
We're going to have Mike Bailey on. Mike Bailey is not quite as famous as Sherry, maybe, but he has fame in Rolesville. He's I would call him our historian.
Yes.
Our artifact finder. So we'll have him on talking a little bit about the history of Rolesville and maybe some artifacts and things like that. What do they call it? Used to have a show on the Relic Hunter. Maybe that's what his nickname can be, the Relic Hunter. But that's going to be fun time. And then another guest, which I'm kind of looking forward to because I'm kind of at that age I need to, is Leslie McMillan. She's a Medicaid specialist she's a benefit broker, and it is it's good to know about that, and we're going to have her on talking about that a little bit, Rachel, coming up too. So two great items coming up. Guests. The last thing I want to plug. And I want to say, I don't know if you guys have watched it. It's a show on UNC TV, Chapel Hill Channel 4, I think, and it's called NC Impact. It comes on at 7:30, April the 1st. I think it's a Friday night, April the 1st, and this is not an April Fool's joke. But April the 1st, NC Impact will have a segment in there on Rolesville and the growth of Rolesville. And there were several topics and things that they was covering. And just to mention a couple that stands out in my mind is, they asked a question about the housing market here in the town of Rolesville. A lot of communities are seeing, demand outpace the supply, and many challenges along there. And certainly Rolesville fits that category to a T. I was looking at one of the new communities close to where I live, and some of the houses in there have sold, and they don't even have started building them yet. So it's just a sold sign on the vacant lot that people are waiting for the house to be built. So we are experiencing that crunch for sure. And then another thing that kind of stood out, there's several questions. Another thing stood out, what separates Rolesville from other communities that doesn't experience the growth and attract the people that we are attracting. And, I think, sum that up real quickly, it has to do with our location. As Sherry says, location of farmers market means a lot. I think Rolesville being in Wake County means a lot. And, being in Wake County, being in the region that we are, it's going to mean that we have to accept the fact that Wake County is the largest county in the state and it's growing rapidly. So that's just where we live at, I think. But if you put that on your calendar, tune in April 1st at 7:30, Channel 4, Chapel Hill Channel. And just want to say that, Rachel, I've about used up all your time. So
Yeah, no, that's wonderful, Mayor. I'm gonna pop up a screen really quickly to show you that we are, for those that are watching, considering we do have our Wake County School Board representative on here, we are accepting applications, which I mentioned earlier, for Youth Leadership Rolesville. And that picture that's on there is actually the current class. We wanted to do some advertisement that just showed them having a good time. They are a great group of students. I mean, seriously, great group. We have representatives from Rolesville High School, representative from St. Thomas More Academy, representative from North Wake Early College, and that program. So we have students that are not just Rolesville High School students or any particular school. It truly is one of where, if you live in this community or if you attend a school in this community, this is a program for you. That's a great opportunity. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Our sponsors, actually, the town is one of our largest sponsors that allows us to be able to offer this program for free, which is unbelievable. So we're definitely excited about that. If a parent is watching, or if you know someone whose student may be interested, this is truly an opportunity for them to learn about our community. The mayor has spent time with them. He has gotten to know them. So we do love that. We love our partnership with the school, and not just one school, but all of our schools, even our private schools. We love partnering with them. So thank you all so much for joining us. For the mayor, of course, we're excited about our show that comes up in the next month. If you have not seen, we advertise on the billboard. So there's no reason for you to say you didn't see it or didn't know it was happening. So that is something we do and make sure that it happens. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this is What's Happening in Rolesville with Mayor Ronnie Currin.
Thank you, everyone.